What's up, all you out there and you can learn guitar land? Today we're going to experiment with a different tuning. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the low E and the high E and we're going to drop them down to D. So what that does is it allows you to kind of get that droney, cool kind of sound that you might hear in like The Doors, The End, or different songs out there. But it's cool because what you can do is it starts to let you maybe reach different melody lines that would be hard in a typical standard tuning. Now that it's tuned down a whole step, you can reach other notes and get this really cool, nice, droney sound and take really simple shapes and make it sound kind of big. And you can play around with doing melody lines on the top of your chords that the singer can play off of or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some really basic examples and shapes that you can use and then let you kind of take the ball and run with it. As always, click the links below if there are any and let's check it out. Alright, so again we're going to have D, A, D, G, B, and D. So the only thing you're doing differently is taking the top string and the bottom string and tuning them to D. Now let's explore some different inversions of chords and things that we can do to take a typical, progression or whatever and make it sound a little bit differently from, being able to reach different registers with this bottom note being changed down a whole step. It opens up a lot of chords and allows you to do kind of a droney right? So let's take a look at what some of those shapes are. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow, you can allow these other top strings to ring, but I'm sticking basically with the bottom four strings. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the 9th fret on the G and the 7th fret on the B. Now this shape is going to stay consistent for each one of these shifts that we do. So it's going to stay that same whole step apart. And we're just going to go down 2 frets. We're going to go down a whole step each time, right? So what we're going to start with is that 9 and 7, and then we're going to leave the bottom open. So we got... And then you'll watch me and I'm going to throw in this pinky. So we got... Right? So at the last part there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch. First of all, I'm going to do this pinky. So now it's going to be 5, 3 on the B, 5 on the E, which is now a D. And then I'm going to take my pinky and I'm going to drop in my second finger right here on the 4th fret. Open. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this same finger and I'm going to put that on the G string, 4th fret. And I'm going to take my pinky and put them on the bottom 5th fret. Again, so we got... And then I'm going to take that new shape, which is going to be 4th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and slide that up a whole step. And then start the sequence over. Right? Now, so what I would do now is I'm going to change it up and go down to what looks like a normal D chord, but now since this is a whole step lower, this high E string, which is now a D, so you got... Now what we can do is we can either play with our pinky to get a more minory spooky sound or a majory sound. So this would be the major. Right? Or if we just went, which would be a normal suspended chord, we get this nice kind of spooky sounding chord here. And what's cool is you can hammer on that second fret, high E. Right, so what I like about this tuning is it's very drony sounding. You know, you can really mess around with different things you can do, but you always kind of have that D drone in the background, which really is cool to play around with. And it also allows the melody line that you're doing here on this high string to really kind of come through, so the singer can play off of that melody. So it really allows you to take your chords, and instead of just playing, you know, a typical D, C, G or something, you now have something to where you're establishing a opposing melody line with your fingers in typical chord shapes as you're going up and down the sequence of the chords that the singer can play off of, or different band members or whatever, if you're in an instrumental band or whatever. But it gives this kind of drony, cool, vibey sound to it. Now let's take some basic shapes of what would be normally associated with basic power chords, but you're going to get a much different sound when you do the same shapes as that you would normally see. So like for this one, I'm going to do the 5th fret all the way across, and then I'm going to put this 3rd finger onto the A string 7th fret, and it's going to sound like this. Right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play with notes down here again. And you get those really cool sounds because now this is tuned down a whole step. This note is gonna interact with it. This B string, the notes you play on this are really gonna interact differently now that it's down a whole step. So you get these cool. Get back into the chords or whatever that way. But those are just some things you can try. Like really mess around with, you know, take this basic whole step apart shape and mess around with different. You know what I'm doing right there is I'm just trying to see like what different inversions of chords I can do and have it work out. Now, I just particularly like the sound of the one I've been showing you. But by no means do you have to limit yourself to that kind of a sound. So just really play around with different chords, you know, do the power chords from the A string down, you know. You know, those will really sound different too with this bottom string tuned down a whole step. Right, so mess around with all that stuff. Now, you can also, if you're really wanting to explore as well, is do a tuning called DADGAD, which is what we have right now, but then you're going to take this B string and tune that down a whole step as well. And that'll really open up a lot of different chord inversions that you can do. Having these two strings tuned down a whole step from where they're normally at really opens up what you can do with this hand, and as far as reaching other notes that would be really impractical to do if they was tuned in standard pitch. So try that tuning as well. So just just mess around with the basic idea and this basic tuning I showed you right now, and then expand upon and try the DADGAD or whatever, and see if they can take, you know, typical things that you would normally do and spice it up a little bit. That drony sound is really, really fun for me. All right, so catch you next time.